So I'm just planning the extractor fan for the van. I would have preferred to put it in this top section there, but it's double skinned and quite curved on the external surface. I think now should be good. The advantage is it's single skinned, and it's not much of a curve, but what curve there is can be forced flat because there's a little bit of flexibility there. I can fit it inside of the frame and struts, so minimise the impact on the strength of the door. I've already got wiring down in the bottom there waiting for it. Yeah, I think that'll shift plenty of air for my requirement. So I've selected my extractor fan. It cost me about £20 off of eBay. 3000 rev per minute on what, a 4-inch fan. I tested it already just to see what it's like, and yeah, it's going to shift loads of air. Make a template to represent the skin of the van. That way I know that my hole is going to be just right. I want it to be as high as it can be on this inside door, but without interfering with the struts and double skin areas there. So as you can see, it's actually going to sit like so, and that'll be just inside the seam and that strut. I've marked them 2 top holes which correspond with the 2 top holes there. So then I can transfer it onto the outside, which is where I'm going to cut from, or where my specialist cutter is going to cut from. So those screws there and on the other side just enable me to line up the outside, and you know, I've got a few mil to play with either side anyway. So I'm just going to mark up the internal cut. Red line is the cut line. First fit yesterday, I removed the unit and just primed this exposed metal here. There's no reason this should ever be subject to any moisture anyway, if I properly seal the unit in, but just belt and braces. And the other thing I've done, if you're thinking of doing similar on the same sort of van, is because of the curvature of the back door, when it's just sat in there simply, you do get a bit of a gap there, and I didn't want to use loads of silicone and stuff, so I actually just made 2 additional holes. I've tested it with just the screws in, and that pulls it really tight, so that's going to give me a really nice seal around there, with a couple of extra on the verticals. Don't need it up there because it's flat across. So what I'm going to do now is put a bead of silicone on the inside. But before I fit this on and put the silicone in, I'm just going to put a tape board around, and then when it's squeezed and the silicone inevitably squeezes out, I can keep that pretty clean, because of course there's an external cover to go on as well. Yeah, I don't really like silicone, messy old business, so the more you can do to mitigate that, the better in my book. So I've applied a generous bead of silicone. So it's useful to have your unit clearly marked up. So you can see we've squeezed a good amount of silicone all the way around that. I'm happy with that. There's going to be another barrier to it anyway, so let's get on with that. Right, just make sure this is up the right way. Whenever I do any silicone work, I always end up taking more time cleaning it up than doing the install. There we go, that looks really good. I'm happy that's very well protected against any ingress. 2 barriers of silicone, so the power supply for the extractor fan runs from the base of my unit. I've not put the construction of this on video yet as it's incomplete, but something to look forward to. Anyway, the power supply for the extractor fan is coming off a little inline fuse to protect the cable. Obviously the negative is picked up off the other battery terminal. And the cable runs behind the ply. It was all laid in before I insulated. It's fairly straightforward. The only tricky bit was running the cable through the door, chosen grommets, into the base of the door, and I picked that up yesterday picked it up today to do the final wiring. So this is the inside view of that installation. I will of course be insulating the door and ply lining it, so all we'll be left with visibly for the fan will be a grill in front of the extractor fan. There you go. That's just a temporary switch I've put in just to operate it until that's done. I'll probably just have a nice little rocker switch by the side of it. Anyway, proof is in the pudding. I'm really pleased with that. I mean, it's only a small van, so just cracking a window will allow plenty of throughput. So when I'm cooking, or dare I say using the toileting facilities, that's going to shift the dare I say it, odours. Really pleased with that.